Good Tuesday morning, East Tennessee. My name is David Aldridge, Chief Meteorologist of Captain Accurate Weather, coming to you by way of the Captain Accurate Weather Command Center. On behalf of Weigel's, fuel and food that's fast, fresh, and friendly, here's your East Tennessee weather update. I want to bring us also up to speed. It's back. You know, who doesn't love a great comeback story? Who doesn't love a great comeback story? Well, the Weigel's Orange Creamsicle Milk is back for a limited time. If you haven't checked it out, it's yummy, it's rich, and it's creamy, and it's available only for a limited time at Weigel's. So pick up a bottle while you're there, maybe filling up your tank today, or maybe you're going to grab some awesome coffee, hot chocolate, or maybe even some, well, it's kind of cool. Maybe temperatures in the 50s would require some hot chocolate or even a light jacket this morning. But very excited the fact that Orange Creamsicle Milk back for a limited time. And also, it's just better when it's fresh. It's farm to store in 24 and just better when it's with Tennessee cows. So very excited about this morning because we're now counting down the days. Did you know we're just 4 days away from autumn? Yes, 2:50 in the morning while many of us are asleep on Saturday. That's when the autumnal equinox parties may have to commence. But that's when it'll officially be season's greetings. And coming up in just a few moments, I'm going to have some fall color updates and when you might be able to expect peak in your neighborhood. How about that for fanciness, right? We're also on the call. I'm going to say good morning to you. We're waking up to the mid-50s. Mid-50s, one of the cooler mornings we've seen in a while. Yesterday was cool. This is maybe a tad cooler in some spots. But I'm also on YouTube. If you're on YouTube, let me know. I'm also over here on Facebook. So I'm on two services, two platforms, as it were. But if you're on the call, we'd love to say good morning to you. I see Felicia says good morning from South Knoxville. Grab the Weigel's coffee. Absolutely, it says Fred. I love Fred's idea. Danny says good morning, David. Hope you have a wonderful day. Go Vols. You know, we love a comeback story for the Vols. I mean, that Florida loss was tough, but they've got a big game at Neyland this weekend at 4 o'clock, if I'm not mistaken, at Neyland on Saturday. Weather's going to be divine. It'll be very nice. Maybe you want some sunglasses. Carrie says, good Tuesday morning. Everyone have a beautiful day. Loving this nice weather. So if you're on the call, just want to say hello and thank especially Weigel's, my sponsor. If you're at a Weigel's today, make sure you say, tell them Captain Accurate sent you. We're just 4 days away from autumn. By the way, visibility is pretty poor in areas from Knoxville northward. So if you're anywhere from Fountain City to Oak Ridge to Jacksboro, it may be a quarter mile or less, so be extra careful. Low beams, sun doesn't come up for a little while, about a half hour or so from now. But 10 miles visibility may be observed at Morristown, but it's down to 0 in Jonesville, 1 mile in Middlesboro. So fog is an aspect to this morning's out-the-door expectation. If you look at the radar, not a whole lot to see here. Right? We've had virtually clear skies. It's allowed for some of these clouds to kind of take hold at the surface. The condensation process has already begun, and there are some concerns, perhaps maybe some fog in other parts of the state, but really not a lot of rain to see, and that's been the theme, or will be the theme, for much of this week. Temperatures right now, not 71 degrees. That map is a little bogus, but it is 56 in Nashville, 52 in Johnson City. Let's see if I can get my current temperatures. There we go. It's 56. What are you talking about, Aldridge? It's 56 in Knoxville. I see that. I see that. But it's 47 in Jamestown and 54 in Morristown. Gotta love technology, right? But we are talking about temperatures right now. 54 degrees in Morristown. It's 52 in Sevierville and 52 in Athens. They're in the 40s in Jonesville. I mean, is that jacket weather for you? I don't know. Maybe some hot chocolate might be in order. It could be. But coming up here, I'm going to talk about the fall color. I know you're going to want to know when's it going to peak in my neighborhood. I'm going to give you an idea on that. Plus, the hurricane season, which you think is way, I've heard about Nigel. He's not coming here. Well, there could be something closer home, something up close and personal to your beach vacation. You want to stay tuned for that, too. That's here in just mere moments. It is 6:44. My goal, as it usually is most weekday mornings, Tuesday through Fridays, I like to go about 20 minutes from 6:40 to 7 o'clock. But those are the current readings. I mean, normal low this time of year is 60. So we're 4 degrees. I know we've dropped to 55 so far at McGee Tyson. Dew points are in the basement. There's no humidity here. What are you talking about? Well, Jonesville isn't reporting, but I can interpolate and assume that if their hygrometer were working, they're probably in the low 50s. But even still, 49, dew point, Wartburg, it feels like it's crisp. We could say cool and crisp this morning. Would love to know how you feel this weather is treating you. By the way, there's no stuffy air here. Got to zoom all the way back out and see if I can't find any green. Where's the green? Where's the green news? Oh, there it is. Oh, it's back west of St. Louis, maybe back toward Kansas City. And there's not a whole lot of humidity here. Right through 8 o'clock Thursday. Oh, there's a little bit. I thought maybe there was something wrong with your map. No, it just went on a vacation. There's no humidity for a while, and that's going to be a little bit the way the last week of summer It's going to feel pretty good even heading into Friday. We really don't have high dew points at all for a while. Wind speeds are light and variable, 0 to 5, if not all day long. So you're not going to expect much in the way of wind, and there's not a whole lot of cloud cover to see here. So we're going to find a bright start to the day, no doubt. Look at where the clouds are, though, up towards, say, northern Illinois, maybe around the Chicago area. But most of the state is virtually cloud-free. Maybe a few wispy clouds today, but the sun is up at 7:21. That's more than a half hour from now. And it'll be going to bed at 7:37. Take a look at that number. Wow. These days are getting shorter, and we're getting closer to the autumnal equinox where the sunrise and the sunset time will match. The only thing that won't match is the AM versus the PM, but the numbers will be the same very soon. As we take a look at the bus stop forecast as you're heading out the door this morning, the kiddos are going to have a nice crisp morning. They might say, I'm kind of cool, Dad. I'm kind of cool, Mom. I need a light jacket. I need a sweater. Maybe 63 at 10, but temperatures by 2 o'clock should be in the upper 70s. I anticipate low 80s for Knoxville. Now, if we don't get to 83 and we just get to 82 or 81 in much of the valley, I'm okay with that. Tellico Plains, 81, but there will be 70s, very common. 70s, mid-70s, that's it for Crossville, Cumberland County, Lake Tansy, Fairfield Glade. Mid-70s, Oneida into Scott County, Jamestown, Fentress, and even La Follette, upper 70s there for you. Otherwise, I mean, a normal high is 82 this time of year. The only other problem might be ragweed. If you're suffering from ragweed, let me know on the call. I want to say good morning to you. I want to say hi, and how are you doing on a Tuesday? Are you excited about this week? Because there's really not a lot of storminess to talk about, as raindrops will be hard to find. I see Fred says good cool 56 in Maryville. He's grabbing some Weigels. Crystal says, I'm digging this cooler weather. Just not ready for cold weather. Well, let's not hope jump the gun there, but I do want to see what's happening on YouTube. Oh, I got Wanda Post. She says, good morning, David. I got Needed 97. Good morning. And Felicia's Crafty Adventures. Good morning and happy fall. That orange milk is good, says Wanda Poe. Love Wanda's comments. She's on YouTube. So if you haven't joined me on YouTube, please do. I'm almost to the big benchmark of 1,000 subscribers. I think I got 956. You could put me over the edge if you're a YouTube person and like to hang out on that platform. Love to have you on my platform. By the way, it's back. Who doesn't love a great comeback story? I'm talking about the orange creamsicle milk, and I'm also talking about the Vols. They're back for a limited time. Not the Vols, I'm talking about the creamsicle milk. Orange creamsicle milk, only at Weigel's. It's delicious, it's yummy, it's rich and creamy. Maybe you remember having it back when it first came out, but this is a chance to grab it again, and it's only around at Weigel's. It's just better when it's fresh, farm to store in 24, and it's just better when it's with Tennessee cows. So very happy that it's back, and I'm glad that you're back. I'm going to talk about the allergies. Ragweed's a problem, and that will continue to be a problem. Let's talk about fall color. I had this question come up a couple of times last week, and I said, well, it's still early in September. Don't want to jump my calendar. I almost said December, but it's only mid-September, right? It's the 19th. And where there is some little low color in yellow would be in the Rockies, west of Denver, into Wyoming, parts of California. That's where color may be most noticeable, as evidence from our friends at Explore Fall. But the fall color may be little right now. There may be a few renegade trees that are doing its own thing and following its own path. That's understandable. But as we get further into the month and into October, things change dramatically. Now, these are based on the 1991-2020 averages. When you look at the country as a whole, and I'm looking at some blue spots, those are the early, late September areas. It would be where it's seeing color now. That's the Rockies in parts of Colorado, into Wyoming, and into Idaho, Montana, and the rest. But if you come back to the north and east, I know Fred spent some time up in Maine. He knows it changes there pretty quickly. Usually can happen as early as, say, mid-October, right? If not sooner. So some areas up in the northeast happen much sooner. That includes parts of the mountains of West Virginia. But here, there's a little yellow patch. If you follow my legend, that's early November sometime. It's after Halloween where you might really see the color come alive in Knoxville proper. You go to the plateau, it can very well happen mid to late October. We usually think of as the third week in October when we play Alabama, when things really come alive in the Smokies. So it just depends on the year, but this is an average, and an average expectation should be coming in the next 4 weeks. So be on the lookout. You might be watching the leaves change right before your very eyes. Would love to know what you see, and send me some pictures on the David Aldrich Weather Group. By the way, here are your headlines at 6:50, because I'll be done in 10 minutes. Bright sunshine today, check. A big warm-up. Well, how about a bit warmer? We'll just say a bit warmer. Mid-80s this week. And raindrops will be, in fact, hard to find, as I'll explain more here in a moment. But watch the tropics. And it's a lot more than what you think. Here's Nigel, right? Right there in the middle of your screen. He is a hurricane. You might say, oh, I heard of the news. It's not going to bother us. And you would be correct. Well, we have another problem that might be off the East Coast here developing in the next couple of days. In fact, in the next 2 or 3 days, there might be more development just off the coast of Georgia. By the way, Hurricane Nigel has winds of 85 miles per hour. At one time, they thought this would be a major hurricane, but that is not their expectation anymore. Because Hurricane Nigel, which kind of sounds British, hello Nigel, is going to be making a right-hand turn. And then by the time we get to about Friday of the week, it's no longer a hurricane, but it has moved up toward, well, possibly Europe. Maybe it heads back to its homeland. Hello, Nigel, I'm going to the UK. Or maybe I'm not. I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know. Fish and chips for Nigel. He's heading up there. He won't be bothering anybody in the near term. By the way, 7-day National Hurricane Center outlook looks like this. There's a 70% chance a wave that came off of Africa becomes Ophelia. You remember Ophelia from Hamlet? Oh, yeah. You know, that 400+ year play? Yeah, Shakespeare. All right, so Ophelia might be given that name in red, but there's suddenly this little yellow area that you may want to be aware of if you were planning to go down to Myrtle Beach in the next couple of days. Because if you're heading down there this weekend to the beach, this may not even get a name, kind of like the Memorial Day storm never got a name, but it will be rainy. It will be quite rainy, and you say, that's impossible. It's dry as could be in Knoxville. Big difference between Knoxville and Myrtle Beach, at least this week. So please, if you're going to the beach, you got to watch what's going to be happening with this little yellow area, because this could become tropical, maybe subtropical, maybe it gets no name at all, but if it did get a name, it could be Philippe, if, of course, Ophelia doesn't form out in the middle of the Atlantic first. Ophelia, Philippe, and Rena, all names, the next 3 on the list. It is 6:52. I want to come back on camera because I'm curious to know what you got going on, and if your comments will let me know. Travis says, happy cool weather. Crystal says, I'm digging the cool weather, and I mentioned Fred. He's at a cool 56 degrees, and he is in Maryville, and he's enjoying some Weigel's coffee. And why not? Weigel's coffee is awesome. You can pick one of those little cups up as you fill up your tank, but I'm also a big fan of the orange creamsicle milk. You want to check it out at Weigel's today. As we get back to the Storm Prediction Center maps, so I'm going to finish on time. There are some hot spots today. Now, all the rain, because it didn't really disappear entirely, it just disappeared here. The raindrops will form across Florida today and eventually the southeast, like places like Myrtle Beach, Charleston, Savannah, Tybee Island. But there's also going to be some areas for severe weather today in yellow. They're talking the scattered severe storms if you have family in the Oklahoma City area, Wichita Falls, an isolated severe storm threat for Dallas, McKinney, and San Angelo, and Abilene. But here, not a drop to be found. Tomorrow, it's still in parts of Oklahoma and Texas, but the rain will continue to grow across Florida in spots as we see isolated severe storms in Tulsa, Oklahoma City, as well as Lawton tomorrow. And this is, again, Wednesday. Nothing to see here on Wednesday. Thursday, same situation. You'll notice how we're dry. All the wet weather is either far to the west or far to the south and east, but just not knocking on your door or my door. Thursday, looking for some isolated severe storms from Oklahoma City back toward Tulsa and Wichita. And notice the severe risk here, obviously another 0 for us Thursday. 56, our current temperature. Can you believe it? It's kind of cool outside. I don't know if you're used to this kind of weather, but it's certainly kind of cool. And if you like the cool weather at a dew point in the low 50s, then this is your type of weather. I mean, outside of ragweed, what more do you have to worry about? Now, if you are needing some rain, and we are, by the way, because I'm a note taker, we are now 0.41 inches above normal for the year. And we're erasing that each day that we're dry. So when you think about it, we're less than a ½ inch above normal for the year. Will we be moving into a dry period? It certainly appears that way. And when you look at this, I've got only a 20% chance of rain on Monday, and it doesn't look much higher on Tuesday, but there will be some opportunities maybe for some hit or miss showers by early next week. Valley Planner, high temperature today, 82 is the average. I'm expecting 83 for Knoxville. Some of you, as I highlighted, will not get out of the upper 70s today. So if I just said it's one size fits all, that's not true. It's going to be significantly cooler today at the plateau, significantly. Cooler in the Smokies, but for the valley, I expect low 80s to be a little more common, and certainly your car thermometer should reflect that, no doubt. Good morning once again. I got a note from Ed. Ed says good morning. He loves all the coffees and the porch kind of mornings. He's loving and enjoying this. Thank you, Ed, for that update. And I mentioned Fred and Crystal, and back on YouTube because we're doing both. We're both. Wanda's on here. She's saying good morning, and Needed 97. We've got a couple of comments of that. Thankful for you. We've got, how many people? We've got quite a few showing up on YouTube, so I'm happy to have you guys here as well. This is one of the cool things about doing two platforms at once, is that you're reaching different people. I've got 6 people now on YouTube, and some people watch it on delay. That's just one of the cool things that we are now in that type of environment. Here's the high-pressure dome. You can thank that for the blue skies, but you can also thank it for the fog that has formed overnight. We have allowed some condensation at the surface, so some of you will be dealing with more fog, especially north of Knox County. By the afternoon, really this high is just kind of moving on toward Richmond, toward Roanoke, and then we see dry weather right into Wednesday as well. High pressure moves off the coast, and we've got rain maybe around St. Louis on Thursday, but it's just not going to be developing here, so we're going to keep it dry, and that's our expectation right through this upcoming work week and into the weekend as a whole, because it's not until Monday I see some isolated showers. Here's the futurecast. Look at these numbers. By the time we hit noontime, it's still like room temperature, right? Just like yesterday. I believe we were about 71 at lunchtime yesterday. Today it should be right almost a match. But then we get into the afternoon, about 4 o'clock. Some of us are in the mid-70s, Crossville, Jamestown. Some of us are in the low 80s, like Oak Ridge, Maryville, and Knoxville, as well as Morristown. By 5 o'clock, many of us will have nudged 83 in the Knoxville area. And then look at this. By the time we move tomorrow morning, I'm expecting a low around 56. I think that's reasonable from Oak Ridge to Knoxville. Many of us will be in the 50s to start the day tomorrow, and then finishing the tomorrow, I think around 84 degrees. But there will be maybe a good blend of sunny clouds, more high clouds on Wednesday. So here's your forecast, 6:57. I'm finishing on time. Look at this. Today, bright sunshine. It's going to be pleasant, and variable winds 0 to 5 miles per hour. We're looking ahead to today. We're looking at a high around 80 for Morristown, White Pine, Talbot, Dandridge, 83 for Newport, Del Rio, and Cosby, and Parentsville. Sevierville, Pigeon Forge, about 77 to be fair, a little cooler in the mountains, and Gatlinburg in the upper 70s, about 83 for Athens, 75 for Crossville, about 79 for Wartburg, and around Frozen Head State Park. Today, looking for a high in Nashville, 82 if you're traveling there to the west, 82 for Charlotte if you're headed to the east, and about 80 for Atlanta if you're headed to the south. Tonight, down to 56, mostly clear. It's still cool and comfortable, and naturally, there'll be some patches of fog, no doubt with light and variable winds, but low temperatures tonight, about 51 for Middlesboro, 56 around, Oak Ridge, and about 54 for Morristown. So those are my low temperatures tonight. We're back in the mid-50s, feeling oh so sweet. It is 6:58. We got 83 for today. Now, it might take all day to get there, but 84 on Wednesday is warmer, and then we're in the mid-80s for Thursday and Friday. Fall begins officially at 2:50 in the morning on Saturday, so while we're asleep, really, Friday night. But we're still in the low 80s going into Sunday, maybe partly cloudy with a few extra clouds on Monday with some spots of rain. So that's the way things are shaping up. Love the fact that you guys are on here on both platforms. I come back to Facebook, and I see a couple of notes from you. I see Michael Norman, one of my premium members on Facebook. Hi, Michael. Great to see you. Hope you're having a great time. You were traveling, I think, earlier this summer, but he's back. I prefer my temps to qualify for the AARP 65 and above. He likes it warmer. Okay. Well, I like the reference, though. Very cool. Esther Atkins says, good morning, David Aldrich weather. It's 51 in Washburn. Are you sure? Is that thermometer broken, or is it really? I think you're right. I think you're right. You're in the low 50s in Washburn. That seems to be pretty reasonable. And Felicia says weather looks great for the weekend. Stop by the Tea and Treasures in South Knoxville, says Felicia, on Saturday on your way to the Vols game for a pop-up market and mini music fest. Does that sound fun? Tea and Treasures. Thank you, Felicia, for posting that. And if you have a special event you'd like the Captain Accurate Weather audience to know about, put it in the comments section. I'd like to read about it, too, because I love the events taking place this weekend here as well. But 4 o'clock is the game. 4 o'clock is the game on Saturday with the Vols taking on the University of Texas of San Antonio. UTSA, I guess is what they're known as. Anyway, well, my name is David Aldrich. Don't forget, I want to make sure you know it's back. The orange creamsicle milk, back for a limited time. How could I forget? It's available for a limited time only at Weigel's, where, of course, it's just better when it's fresh. Farm to store in 24, it's just better when it's with Tennessee cows. Very thankful for you, and also very thankful that you can pick up all sorts of goodies. If you're new to East Tennessee, some hot coffee, maybe some chocolate milk, regular milk, all that is there at your convenience and at Weigel's near you. Well, my name is David Aldrich. Some people call me Captain Accurate. It's not easy being accurate, so weather doesn't surprise you. We'll see you here next time. Take care.